Morning.
Good morning.
How's everybody doing this morning?
Good.
Are you guys enjoying this weather? I mean,
It's getting hot.
I'm kind of not too sure about it because I kind of like the cool. So, but you know what? There is a place that's hotter. So it's probably going to get there pretty soon. Good morning and welcome to Community Circle Church. We're so glad you guys all decided to join us here this morning. And if you're watching on the live stream, we're so glad that you've joined us this morning. You guys are the reason that we're here. And you know, it's not lost on me that there are a ton of good churches out there. A lot. Mucho churches that you could be attending or watching on the internet, but you guys chose to be here. So I want to say thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us. We are so excited. We get to introduce something new here at C3. This Wednesday, a good friend of mine, Marvin Cook, is going to be doing some teaching for us. He's graciously agreed to do that. We recorded some of these lessons with him, and so we're really excited about it. And we're going to call these sessions "Circling the Book with Marvin Cook." And so, after you get off work or get home from school or football practice or whatever you do on Wednesdays, come on back right here to your C3 Church on any one of the social media platforms, but it's going to be through Facebook. And come and watch Marvin. Listen to what he has to say. He fascinates me. It was extremely interesting. So this Wednesday, Circling the Book with Marvin Cook. Come back and join us, all right? You won't be sorry, I promise. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed the series that we wrapped up last week called Throwing Rocks, and We Will Rock You, all right? We will rock you. It rocked my world. I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too. Today we start something just a little bit new, and it's going to take us through Father's Day. And we're going to call this series Doubting Dads. And I'm sure that none of you dads out there have ever had any doubts. I'm sure that you guys have all got your stuff all together, and it's all good. And maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one who, when I look around and I see a dad out there who's with his kids, and he's spending time with them, and he's playing at the playground or pushing them on a swing. Maybe I'm the only one that says, wow, this dad, he's got it all together. This dad really knows what he's doing. I wish I could be a dad like that. Nobody else probably has that, and that's okay. And if it's just for me, then cool. But if you have some of those same doubts that I do, hopefully we can kind of go through this together and kind of figure some of this stuff out. Because you know what, I want to be a good dad. And I look at my own dad, and I think if I could just be half the dad that my dad was to me, I'd be okay. But you know what my problem is? I find myself falling short all the time. It's like, the harder and harder I try, sometimes it seems like the farther and farther I fall back, and I kind of lose it a little bit. So sometimes I have those doubts as a dad, and I kind of wonder, man, what do I got to do? What do I have to do to be a good dad? And so that's what I want to talk about here for just a few minutes. And sometimes we look at some of the things that we do to be a dad, and we think, man, that's too much. I don't know if I can do all that. Maybe I can take a shortcut. Maybe there's a shortcut that I can kind of veer off a little bit, and that'll help me be a good dad. Well, I looked some stuff up the other day, and I found some individuals that took shortcuts. And so I just thought, I want to see how taking shortcuts really works out. Does it work for people that try to take the shortcuts? So let's look at a couple of them. The first one I want to look at is TV exec Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein compromised. He compromised his vows to his wife and to his family, and he basically forced dozens and dozens that we know of, young actresses, to engage in inappropriate relationships in order to get acting roles and to get into TV shows and into movies. Very, very powerful man in Hollywood, but he compromised. And he took a shortcut to try to get what he wanted. How did it work out for him? Well, he's been disgraced in Hollywood. He's lost his job, and his wife has filed for divorce. So the shortcut and the compromise didn't work out too well for Harvey Weinstein. But maybe somebody else made it work. So who else can we look at? Well, what about a shortcut to get your kids into college? Okay, we have dozens of parents that's headlined by Felicity Huffman, and those of you who don't know who she is, she played on Desperate Housewives. Never watched it, so I can't tell you what it was about. But the one that really kind of shocked me was Aunt Becky from Full House, Lori Loughlin. These actresses, along with several other parents, paid millions of dollars to compromise the college admission standards and to get their children an unfair advantage. How's it worked out for them? Well, the two that we know, Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin, it's not looking real good. They've both been disgraced in Hollywood. Lori Loughlin's show that she was on has been canceled, and they're both facing jail time. Compromise didn't work out too well for them. Okay, so maybe that's just a Hollywood thing. Maybe there's other ways that we can compromise and we can make it work. Well, I don't know how many of you remember, but several years ago, there was a huge scandal in Major League Baseball. And it had to do with the use of performance-enhancing drugs, or steroids. And it wasn't just these no-name guys that were trying to do it. It was big-name superstars within the sport. You had guys like Mark McGwire, Alex Rodriguez, Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds, and that's just to name a few of them. They compromised. They tried to take a shortcut to greatness. Now, let me be clear. These guys have Hall of Fame resumes. They should be first ballot Hall of Famers. But because they're wrapped up with this steroid scandal, and because the voters for the Hall of Fame have no mercy whatsoever for people that have used steroids, these guys are probably going to fall short and never reach the Hall of Fame, which is exactly what you're going for when you go out to play baseball. That's like your number one goal. Win a World Series, get into the Hall of Fame. That's what you're looking for. And they're more than likely going to fall short because they compromised. They took a shortcut. What about Lance Armstrong? This guy was an animal for 7 straight years. He won the Tour de France. He was unbeatable. You know, everybody would think, oh, Lance Armstrong's out of it. He's too far back. And it would be the last few days of it, the last couple of legs, and boom, he would just burst on the scene and he would win. 7 straight years he won the Tour de France. And those titles were stripped from him when he admitted to Oprah Winfrey that he did use performance-enhancing drugs. I don't know if we have any fans of the Olympics watching today, but Marion Jones in the 2000 Olympics won 5 medals. 3 of them were gold. Had them all stripped from her because she admitted to using steroids. You see, it's not just in Hollywood or in athletics, it's in colleges, it's everywhere that we're trying to compromise. We're trying to find a shortcut to greatness. People are always trying to find the easy route. Now, no matter how we feel about steroids, it's like, well, hey, it's no big deal. Who cares? The fact of the matter is, it was illegal. It was against the rules, and they did it anyway. They tried to find a shortcut. And now, this isn't a talk about steroids or performance-enhancing drugs, but it is a talk about trying to find a compromise and to take a shortcut. All of these individuals chose to try and take a shortcut to greatness. They tried to take the shortcut. You know what? I remember watching Mark McGwire play. I remember watching A-Rod and Bonds and Clemens and watching Lance Armstrong and Marion Jones. These were phenomenal athletes. They probably didn't need any help at all. But they said, you know what? I don't want to take any chances. I'm going to compromise. You know, maybe I don't have enough time to spend in the gym or on the track. But you know what? I can pop a couple of pills, take a shot, and I can be great. They tried to take a shortcut to greatness. Now, I want everybody to listen, but men especially, because this is a series called Doubting Dads. I want you guys to listen to what I'm trying to say. We compromise all the time in our lives. We compromise our values. We compromise our promises in our lives every day. And what happens to it? It brings pain and destruction. Think about maybe friends that you've had that have compromised in their marriage. They've compromised in their relationship with their kids. They've compromised on the job. They tried to find a shortcut. They compromised on their tax returns. Hey, listen, it all comes out in the end. All right? And what happens? Pain and destruction. I know people that thought that they were doing right. They took a little bit of a shortcut and they pay for it for years and years to come. Okay? I want to talk to you about a compromising dad, a doubting dad that we read about in Scripture. And his name is Abraham. Okay? Now, when we first see Abraham, his name was Abram. God later changed his name to Abraham. So if I say Abraham or Abram, it's the same person. All right? But let's see what Abraham did, and let's look at some flaws. Because we think, oh, Father Abraham, oh, he was this great man of faith. And he was. But he also compromised. So let's take a look. Genesis chapter 12, verses 10 through 13. Let's see what Abraham, or as he was known here, Abram did. It says, now there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down to Egypt to live. There for a while, because the famine was severe. As he was about to enter Egypt, he said to his wife Sarai, I know what a beautiful woman you are. When the Egyptians see you, they will say, this is his wife. Then they will kill me, but let you live. Say you are my sister, so that I will be treated well for your sake, and my life will be spared because of you. So basically, Abraham is looking at his wife, and he says, hey, look, you're pretty hot. All right? Let's be real, Sarah. You're smoking hot. And when we go through Egypt, these guys are going to want to get at you. They're going to want to get your digits. They're going to want to know your Snapchat and your Facebook account. They're going to want to hit you up and talk to you. So if they think you're my wife, they're going to try and take me out of the picture. So let's just say you're my sister. And then that way, they don't mess with me. Well, what ends up happening a little later, I'll go ahead and paraphrase it for you to keep it short. They go through, they tell everybody that that's Abraham's sister. Well, the king of Egypt, the Pharaoh, he takes Sarah to be his wife. He's like, whoa, dude, she's hot. Can I have your sister? Hey, bro, it's all good. Take her. He pimped his wife out to save his life. He compromised his marriage vows because his wife was hot and he didn't want anything to happen to him. It ended up that the Pharaoh kind of figured it out and told him to get out of his country before anything happened to him. But he compromised. He lied. He was willing to give up his wife so that nothing would happen to him, so he wouldn't have to get into a little scuffle. Now, I don't know about you, but when it comes to my wife, we're going to throw down. And you may whoop me, but I'm going to make it to where you don't want to do it again. All right? You're not going to mess with her. You're not going to get at her. I put a ring on it. So, and if it comes down to it, we're going to throw down. I'm not going to say, oh, no, that's my sister. Go ahead. Have your way with her. No, she's mine. And you back up off. Right? So, Abraham compromised that because he didn't really feel like he wanted to go through the pain and the fight in Egypt. So a little while later, Abraham compromises again. Let's see what he does. Let's look a little farther down. We're going to go to Genesis chapter 16, verses 1 through 4. Now Sarai, also known as Sarah, Abram's wife, had borne him no children. She had an Egyptian slave named Hagar. So she said to Abram, the Lord has kept me from having children. Go sleep with my slave. Hold on, did I read that right? Go sleep with my slave. Perhaps I can build a family through her. Abram agreed to what Sarai said. So Abraham had been living in Canaan 10 years. Sarai, his wife, took her Egyptian slave Hagar and gave her to her husband to be his wife. He, being Abram, slept with Hagar, and she, Hagar, conceived. when she was pregnant, Sarai began to despise her mistress. Okay, so let's get this straight, what just happened here. We've got the Real Housewives of the Middle East going on. Okay, Sarai can't have a baby. They know that Abraham is supposed to be the father of this great nation, but he's got no children. So she's going to take matters into her own hands. She goes, hey, just go ahead and just sleep with my slave. And Abraham, being a typical guy, said, okay, I guess I'll just go do it. For you, Sarah, I'll do it. Now, does this sound dumb to anybody else other than me? Are we surprised that Sarah begins to have a problem with her mistress or her slave when she has a baby and Sarai doesn't? No, of course not. Abraham compromised. He compromised his values. He compromised his relationship with Sarah. And look what happened. It caused pain and destruction in the relationship. So, to make a long story short, later on, Abraham's wife, his real wife, not his sister wife, but his real wife, Sarah gives birth to a son, the promised son, Isaac. So Isaac comes along, and Sarah makes Abraham get rid of Hagar and her son, Ishmael. They can't live in the same house. You've got the son of promise cannot live with the son of compromise. It doesn't work. It doesn't happen. Isaac was the promised son. Isaac was the promised lineage to Abraham. It doesn't work to have him with compromise, Ishmael. So Abraham did what Sarah asked, and he sent Hagar and Ishmael to another country. Now, what kind of pain and destruction did that cause? Well, look at the Middle East today. Do you not realize that all of the problems that are happening in the Middle East that Israel is having with all of her neighbors is because of this right here? If you look back through the descendants of Ishmael and Isaac, you have the Arabs and you've got the Israelis or the Jews. This is where it started. There was a tension because compromise and promise conflicted. And because of Abraham's compromise, we now have all of the drama that we have going on worldwide that starts in the Middle East and just spreads everywhere because of one man's compromise. Now, Abraham took the shortcut. I'll just sleep with Hagar. Sarah's obviously okay with it, so it must be okay. And I'll just go ahead and we'll get the compromise and we'll make that work. But it didn't work, and it's still causing us problems. Never give up on something that you want. It's difficult to wait, but it's more difficult to regret. I wish I could go into some details about how many times I've learned this lesson myself, how many times I've gotten in a hurry, how many times I thought I knew better, and I compromised and I rushed and I hurried and I messed it up. It's difficult to wait, but it's even worse when you have to regret it. So, fellas, this is especially for you. Let's not compromise in our marriages, and let's not compromise with our kids and in our careers or in our community. Let's be the children of promise, not compromise. And let's be men of integrity. Hey, when we say yes, let it be yes. When we say no, let it be no. Let's not be the type of men where we're wishy-washy. Nobody knows where we're coming from or what we stand for. We are men of integrity. We stand up and we say what we mean. Let us be example for everybody in the world that looks around to us. Let us be that example that they want to see. Say, how did they do it? Let's be that man. Now you may be thinking to yourself, hey, look, Steve, I've compromised my whole life. I didn't know about all this stuff. This is all new to me. And I realize that, man, I've messed up. And I've compromised. Do I even have a chance? Do I have a shot? Or am I just wasting my time? Can I tell you something? I am so glad that you're here today. I am so glad that you're listening in on this live stream. You're the reason we're here. Because you know what? It's not over. It's not over. And I can tell you it's not over because you're still breathing. God's not done with you as long as you're breathing. Okay? Abraham compromised. But even after he compromised, God used him in amazing ways, in big time ways. He's still regarded, when you think of Abraham, as a great man of faith. And well, so you say, how do you know that? What do you base this on? I'm so glad you asked. In the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, it's referred to by experts as the Hall of Faith. Okay, and this is where many throughout the Bible who exhibited great faith are recognized in Hebrews chapter 11. So we're going to look at that real quick where it talks about Abraham. Hebrews 11, 17 through 19. By faith, Abraham, when God tested him, offered Isaac as a sacrifice. He who had embraced the promise was about to sacrifice his one and only son, even though God had said to him, "It is through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned." Abraham reasoned that God could even raise the dead, and in so a manner of speaking, he did receive Isaac back from death. Even after Abraham compromised, he made a U-turn for God. He turned it around, and he finished strong. And that's what we need to do. We need to go from doubting dads to finishing strong. We can't change what we've done, but we can change where we go from here. All right? We want to be men of integrity. We want to be the men that our community can look at. We're gonna finish strong. Abraham finished strong. And guess what? You can too. You can finish strong. God gives us a way back. Aren't you glad for that? He tells us no matter how many times, he's willing to take us back. It's not over. It's not over. And it's not over because we still have a heartbeat, we still have a pulse. We're still sucking in air and blowing it out. We're not done yet. God's not finished with us. So, let me ask you guys, are you ready to enlist in the army of God? Are you ready? Are you ready to be a warrior and to do battle in the everyday temptations of compromise? And if you're ready, I want you to repeat after me. Are you ready? Say, God, I know I've compromised. I know I have failed, but I'm not giving up. Please forgive me, and please help me in the battles ahead of me. In Jesus' name, amen. Now, if you said that little prayer and you meant it, you are now enlisted in the army of God. And if you're not real sure, play it back. Just go back and repeat it and say it and enlist in the army of God. This video is going to be here when you're ready. The important thing is that you get this deep within inside you. You see, we don't want to leave any man behind. We're not going to compromise and leave a soldier behind. We're here for you guys. That's what we are here for. So I hope you're ready to do battle. I hope you're ready to enlist. Put your lives on the line for the sake of the cross. That's what we're here for, because we want to see everybody that we can see enlisted in God's army. Men, women, children, red, yellow, black, and white. It doesn't matter. We're looking for you. We're looking for a few good men and women. Are you ready? We're gonna take our area by storm. We are going to win Shafter and Wasco, McFarland, Buttonwillow, Delano, Bakersfield, Taft, and everywhere in between and beyond, because that's what God's put us here for. We're soldiers of the cross. We're not going to compromise our mission. We are going, and we have one objective, and that is to see souls saved. That is it. We want to see people become members of the family of God. We will not take shortcuts. We will not compromise. There is no shortcut to greatness. All right? But I tell you what I do know. we win. We will win. All right? No compromise. No shortcuts. Only victory. Okay? I hope you guys have enjoyed this first of our series of Doubting Dads when we talked about Abraham. I want you guys to please keep watching, commenting, liking, sharing, because you know what? It really does help us get the message out. Every time Facebook sees that there's interaction with our videos and with our posts, they spread the post out to other people's feeds. And so the word does actually get out, and you can be a big help in that. Don't just watch it by yourself. Invite a friend or family member over. Shoot, have a party at your house and watch it. Because we want to see the army of God expanded. All right? Please don't forget Wednesday, Marvin Cook and his new series, Circling the Book with Marvin Cook. Please tune in because you will learn something in that, I promise you. We're going to have our first gathering within our building August 4th, Sunday, August 4th. The first Sunday of August. It's official. It's coming. We're about 9 weeks away. I can't wait to see you guys out there. I want you guys to do me a favor. Put it in your calendar. Plan for it. Put a reminder on your refrigerator. Bring your friends and your family. I want to shock the community of Shafter and Wasco and Delano and everybody around. I want to shock them with how many people we put into that building. I want you guys, listen, I need another problem. I need a problem with room. So if you guys can flood that building, give me the problem of what I need to do to get more room. I'm begging you. Give me the problem. Sunday, August 4th, 11 a.m., we're going to be meeting at the Walker Center in Shafter, California. It's at, I got the address right here, 505 Sunset Avenue in Shafter. Please make your plans to be there. We can't wait to see you guys. We can't wait to meet with you. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I can't wait to see what's going to happen because you want to know something? I truly believe this. The best is yet to come. Now let me say a blessing over you before we leave here today. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. And may the Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace.